You've heard it. I was just joking. Funny how that sentence never shows up after kindness. It only appears after damage. Here's the psychology. That line is a shield and a weapon at the same time. A shield because it deletes accountability. A weapon because it measures how much disrespect you'll swallow without fighting back. Example, someone says, "Wow, you're getting fat." You freeze, your smile twitches, your stomach drops, and then, "Relax, I was just joking." Notice what happened? They stabbed, then blamed your bleeding for being too sensitive. That's reversal. The attacker becomes the funny one, and you become the problem. Now listen, if you watched the video I dropped yesterday about people who never say sorry, you already saw the pattern. Same dodge, different costume. If you missed it, it's sitting in the description or in the first pinned comment. Go later, not now. Right now, you finish this video to the last second. No scrolling, no "I'll come back." Stay. And if you can't, save it, bookmark it. Come back when you're ready to face what's actually happening. In this video, you will finally understand why just joking works, the 3 motives behind it, the 2 traps it sets in your mind, and the 1 response that makes them stop smiling instantly. Here's the game. They throw a needle, then hide it behind laughter. Your brain hates tension, so it labels poison as play. You laugh, small, fake, so you don't look weak. And the moment you laugh, they learn your price. Keep watching. I'll show you the joke ladder they climb. Teasing, humiliation, control. You'll spot it everywhere. Right here. As always, close your eyes and focus with me. First, the joke is never the point. Control is. Watch how it happens in real life. Small, normal, almost invisible. You're with coworkers. Someone drops, "Oh look, our genius is here." Everyone laughs because laughter is the easiest way to avoid becoming the next target. And if you smile back, you just told them, "You can label me publicly." Then they escalate. Same person, different day. Don't get mad, but you always take forever to understand. See the trick? They insult your intelligence, then pre-frame your reaction as mad. So if you react, you prove their story. If you don't, you swallow it. Either way, they win. This is what I call the permission slip. They hand you pain wrapped in humor and wait to see if you sign. Most people sign with a little laugh that sounds like a cough. That laugh is not happiness, it's compliance. Here's a cleaner example, relationships. Someone says, "You're lucky I even tolerate you." Your chest tightens, tiny but real. Then, instantly, "Relax, I'm joking." Now you're trapped between 2 fears. Fear of being disrespected and fear of being called too sensitive. And the darker detail? They're not testing your humor. They're testing your boundaries and your self-respect and how badly you need approval. So don't look at the sentence, look at the moment. When do they say it? After they cross a line, after your eyes change, after the room gets quiet. Just joking is the emergency exit they run to when they feel the tension spike. Funny, right? The joke appears only when the mask starts slipping. Keep watching, because next I'll show you the second layer, the one that explains why some people do this even when they like you, and why stopping it the wrong way makes it worse. And if you're thinking, so what do I do right there? Not yet. Not yet. Because the wrong response feeds the game. One more scene. A friend says in front of others, "Don't mind him, he's always dramatic." You start to explain, then they cut you off. "Hey, I'm kidding." That cutoff is the message. Your reality is negotiable. Stay. Next comes the second layer, where they look innocent and you look unstable. Second, the innocent face technique. This one is nasty, because it makes you look like the villain for reacting to what they started. Here's how it looks in the real world. Someone throws a line that's not even funny, just sharp. No offense, but you're kinda useless at this. Your eyes change, your jaw tightens, your throat gets dry. And right when they see that micro reaction, "Relax, relax, I was just joking." Notice the timing. They don't say it when they talk. They say it when you feel it. Because the goal isn't the joke. The goal is to trigger you, then label you. This is the dark psychology. They plant a story in the room. If you react, the story becomes "you're emotional." If you don't react, the story becomes "you accept disrespect." Either way, they stay clean. And people fall for it because humans love simple labels. So when someone smiles and says, "Kidding," the brain goes, "Oh, okay, then it's harmless." But harmless jokes don't require emergency exits. Example, family setting. An uncle, a cousin, someone older, someone safe says, "Look at you, still not married. Something wrong with you?" A few people laugh. You feel that heat in your face. You try to respond calmly, and they hit you with the classic, "Relax, I'm joking." And now if you push back, you ruined the mood. You're the problem, not the insult. That's the innocent face. They poke you with a needle, then show everyone their empty hands. Here's the part most people miss. They often do it around an audience, because witnesses create pressure. If you defend yourself, you risk looking dramatic. If you stay quiet, they get a public win. That's why it feels heavier in groups than in private. And listen carefully. If you respond the normal way, explaining, justifying, proving, you hand them exactly what they wanted: effort. Your effort becomes their entertainment. Third, the training effect. Not the gym kind, the kind that teaches you to shrink quietly. Real example, a friend says, "You always talk too much." You laugh it off, small laugh, like you don't want to fight. Then next time you speak, you hesitate. Congratulations, they just trained your voice to ask permission. That's the point. Repeat the joke until it becomes your identity. And the scariest part? It feels normal because it happens in tiny doses. First dose, teasing. Second dose, embarrassment in front of someone. Third dose, you can't take a joke when you finally push back. By then, the room already expects you to swallow it. Another example, work. Your boss or coworker says, "Don't mess this up like you always do." Then they smile. "Kidding, kidding." Now you work with fear in your hands. You double check everything. You stop asking questions. You become careful. They didn't motivate you, they conditioned you. And conditioning is powerful because it changes behavior without debate. No argument, no fight, just adjustment. You adjust to survive the joke, and they interpret your adjustment as victory. This is why it's addictive for them. They get influence with zero responsibility. They can say anything, then erase it with a smile. A magician's trick. Watch the left hand, humor, while the right hand steals your confidence. And if you tell yourself, maybe they didn't mean it, that's the training talking, because the meaning is in the effect, not the excuse. Here's a relationship example that looks innocent. "Aw, you're cute when you try." It sounds sweet for half a second. Then it lands. You're not enough, but they'll tolerate you. If you accept it, you accept the role. Third layer is simple. Repeated jokes rewrite your self-talk. You start correcting yourself before they even speak. You start hearing their voice inside your head. That's not humor. That's programming. Fourth comes next, the part where they use just joking to control the entire conversation and make you defend yourself on their terms. Fourth, the conversation hijack. This is where "I was just joking" stops being a sentence and becomes a steering wheel. Real scene, you're talking about something serious. Respect, money, loyalty, whatever. You say, "I didn't like how you spoke to me." They smirk, lean back, and drop the line. "Oh wow, look at you, so sensitive." You try to explain, no, you try to be fair, and then they cut it clean. "Relax, I was just joking." Notice what happened? The topic was your boundary. Now the topic is your reaction. They move the spotlight off their behavior onto your emotions. That's the hijack. And the room usually helps them because the room hates discomfort. So the group chooses the path of least resistance. Just laugh. Don't make it a thing. Come on, it's a joke. Everybody becomes a lawyer, defending the wrong person. The psychology is simple. They don't want to lose power, so they reframe the entire situation as humor. Humor feels harmless. Humor makes you look petty if you push back. And that's why this tactic is so sticky. Here's another example, classic. Someone says something humiliating in front of others. No one takes you seriously. Your face changes. You're about to respond, then they do the magic trick. Hey, joking. Now you have two bad options. 1, defend yourself and look insecure. 2, laugh and confirm the insult. That's why people freeze. The nervous system doesn't freeze because you're weak. It freezes because both exits feel dangerous. And here's the manipulative detail. Listen close. they often add a second line right after "just joking." Why are you like this? Can't you take anything? You always overthink. That second line isn't humor, it's a diagnosis. They're trying to assign you a defect, so you stop trusting your own sense of reality. You start thinking, maybe I am too sensitive. And the moment you start questioning yourself, they don't even need to insult you anymore. You'll do it for them. Quietly. Let's make it more real. Relationship example. You say, I don't like when you flirt in front of me. They laugh and go, oh my God, you're so jealous. I love it. You try to hold your ground without sounding crazy. Then, relax. I'm kidding. See it? They turned your boundary into a personality flaw. Now you're not a person asking for respect. You're a jealous person asking for control. That's the hijack again. So the key is understanding this. I was just joking is not said to end conflict. It's said to win conflict without looking like the aggressor. And the most viral part, because people never notice it, is how fast it happens. One sentence, one smile, one tiny laugh from you, and the whole conversation is now on their rails. Fourth layer teaches one lesson. If you argue the content of the joke, you're already playing their game. The real fight is the frame. Fifth, the loyalty test. This one is brutal because it's not about humor at all. It's about obedience. Real example, friend group. Someone throws a joke that humiliates you but makes the group laugh. Yeah, don't listen to him. He never gets girls. You feel that sting. Your eyes flick to the others. And the real question appears silently. Will anyone defend me? Or am I alone in this room? Now here's the trap. If you laugh, you prove you'll sacrifice self-respect to stay included. If you push back, they call you dramatic and the group shifts away from you. Either way, the joker learns your position in the hierarchy. That's why they love doing it in public. Public creates pressure. Pressure creates obedience. And obedience looks like a smile you didn't mean. You know that fake laugh? The one that comes out like air? That's the sound of someone choosing peace over dignity. Relationship example, subtle. Your partner says in front of friends, if they ever leave me, no one else would want them. People laugh awkwardly. Then the cover. I'm joking, babe. Do you see the loyalty test? If you accept it, you accept ownership. If you resist it, you ruined the vibe. So your silence becomes proof of loyalty to your own humiliation. And sometimes they make it even more direct. Come on, say you know I'm kidding. Smile. Don't be like that. That's not a request for humor. That's a demand for submission. Here's the darkest part. They'll often reward you when you pass the test. They'll be extra nice later. They'll buy you something. They'll compliment you. Like training a dog after it sits. So your nervous system learns, endure the hit and you get love. Resist the hit and you get tension. That's how people end up addicted to disrespect. Not because they enjoy it, but because it comes with moments of warmth. Sixth comes next, and it's the one that makes smart people lose their minds. Because it uses your own intelligence against you. You'll start analyzing, explaining, proving, and while you're busy doing that, they keep steering. Sixth, the over-explainer trap. Sixth, the over-explainer trap. This one is delicious. because it turns smart people into puppets without a single rope showing. Here's the pattern. They hit you with something unfair. Then they bait your brain into writing a whole essay to defend your dignity. And while you're explaining, they're winning. Real example, work chat, group meeting, public setting. They say, relax, it's not that deep. You're always overthinking. Your mind instantly starts building a case. No, actually, I just meant. You start listing facts, intentions, context, tone. And right there, they smile. Because your explanation is their proof that you're too much. Then they do the next move. I was just joking. Why are you getting defensive? Notice the trapdoor? They insult you. Then they define your response as a flaw. So you begin defending the response, not the insult. That's the switch. Another realistic one, relationships. They say, you're cute when you get mad. You feel it. It's not a compliment. It's dismissal. So you try to explain calmly. I'm not mad. I'm trying to tell you what bothered me. Babe, I'm joking. And now you look like you're arguing with a joke. You look irrational while they look relaxed. Here's the psychology. Your brain hates being misunderstood, so it tries to correct the record. But manipulators use that. They throw a messy accusation, then watch you clean it. This is why it's so exhausting, because the insult takes 1 second, but your explanation takes minutes, hours, days. You replay it in your head. Maybe I should have said it differently. Maybe my tone was wrong. And that inner replay is the real damage. Over-explaining is you trying to earn fairness from someone who benefits from confusion. They need the fog, because fog makes them untouchable. Watch how they escalate it when you're intelligent. They start using logic words to shame your emotions. Objectively, you're overreacting. Rationally, it was a joke. Technically, I didn't say anything bad. That's not logic. That's legal defense. They're not trying to understand you. They're trying to win in a court that doesn't exist. And if you keep explaining, you feed the machine. You give them more angles to twist, more sentences to quote out of context, more chances to say, see, you always do this. You're basically writing the script they'll use against you later. That's why the smartest people get stuck the longest, because they think the solution is a better explanation, but the real solution is a better boundary. Seventh, the approval leash. This is where I was just joking becomes a remote control, and you don't even feel the batteries in your back. Because some people don't use jokes to hurt you directly. They use jokes to make you perform, to make you prove you're cool, to make you prove you're easy, to make you prove you won't leave. Real example, new friend group, first weeks, everyone's smiling. Someone throws, "Don't be boring. You're not one of those serious types, right?" You laugh, a little forced, like you're trying to fit in. And the moment you laugh, the leash clicks on. Because now they can raise the price. Next time it's, "Oh, look, Mr. Perfect is offended." Then, "You're such a baby." Then, "You can't take a joke." And each time, they're not measuring your humor. They're measuring your fear of being disliked. Watch how it looks in relationships. One partner makes a joke in front of someone. "Yeah, they're kind of needy, but I keep them." The other partner smiles, tight smile, because the room is watching. Then the cover comes fast. "Relax, I'm joking." That's not humor. That's a public label. And the label is a leash. If you resist me, you'll look embarrassing. Here's the ugly mechanism. They create a situation where you must choose between two pains, the pain of disrespect or the pain of social rejection. Most people choose disrespect because it's quieter. And it gets worse when you're a people pleaser, because your brain goes, maybe if I laugh, they'll like me. So you laugh, then you adapt, then you soften your boundaries, then you start apologizing for your own reactions. And the leash gets tighter, while they call it fun. Real-world example, workplace banter. A coworker says, "Don't ask them, they always mess it up." You feel heat rise. You want to correct it, but the group laughs and the coworker smiles. "Just joking, just joking." Now, if you defend yourself, you're the difficult one. If you don't, you accept the mess-up identity. That's approval leash again. Your behavior is guided by the room's comfort, not your self-respect. And here's the manipulative genius. Sometimes they'll reward you for passing. They'll say, "See, you're cool, I like you." Like handing a treat after you swallow an insult. So you start chasing the reward. You start trying to be the good sport. You start laughing faster before the pain even lands. That's the leash at its peak. You pre-submit. Seventh layer is simple. "I was just joking" becomes a test of whether you value truth or belonging. And if you keep choosing belonging, they learn they can rewrite reality in front of your face, and you'll help them do it. Eighth, the sugar knife. This is the kind that doesn't sound cruel. That's why it's lethal. Because sometimes "I was just joking" doesn't come after an insult. It comes after a compliment that leaves a bruise. Real example. Someone says, "Aw, you're actually smart sometimes." You laugh because what else do you do? Your face tries to cooperate. And then, if your eyes narrow even a little, "Relax, I'm just joking." See the trick? They just planted doubt inside a smile. So you can't point to it without sounding paranoid. And they know people hate looking paranoid. Another one, relationship, very common. "You're cute when you get jealous." That sounds sweet for half a second. Then it lands. Your boundary became a flaw. You try to say, "I'm not jealous, I just..." And you hear it. "I'm kidding, babe. It's a joke." And now the room, the moment, the mood, all of it becomes a wall behind them. They don't have to argue. They just keep smiling like you're weird for noticing. This is where the brain starts doing something dangerous. It begins to doubt its own alarm system. Because the threat didn't arrive with anger, it arrived with laughter. So your mind hesitates and goes, "Maybe I'm imagining it." That hesitation is the doorway. Here's a clean, realistic scene. A friend says, softly, almost kindly, "You're lucky you have me. You'd be lost without me." You feel that sting, tiny, sharp. You raise an eyebrow, and they immediately soften their voice. "Relax, relax, I'm joking." That wasn't reassurance. That was a collar. Because if you accept it, you accept dependence. And if you reject it, you become the ungrateful one. That's why I call it the sugar knife. Sweet words, with a hidden edge. And the joke is the bandage they slap over the cut. Watch how it spreads. They start teasing your memory. They tease your instincts. They tease your reactions. Little lines like, "You're so dramatic. You always misunderstand. You take everything the wrong way." Then the cover every time. "I'm just joking." And after enough repetitions, you stop trusting your first feeling. You start asking them what you're allowed to feel. You start editing yourself mid-sentence, mid-thought. That's not a relationship. That's management. The most disturbing version is the one that looks like affection. "You're my favorite, even though you're a little broken." People laugh. You try to smile. Inside, something drops. And then instantly, "Oh my God, I'm kidding. Don't start." That last part, "don't start," is the control button. Because it tells you your pain is an inconvenience. So you swallow it. Literally, like this. You become very good at swallowing. Eighth layer is about confusion with warmth. If cruelty is obvious, you can fight it. But when cruelty wears perfume, you hesitate. And hesitation is how people get trained. And once you see the sugar knife, you'll start noticing the moment it enters conversations. Right after a cute line that didn't feel cute. Right after your smile became forced. Right after your body knew the truth before your mouth admitted it. Ninth, the bait and switch apology. This one is sick because it pretends to fix the damage while secretly blaming you for feeling it. Real life scene. They say something sharp, personal. No wonder people leave you. Your eyes change. Your throat tightens. Your brain goes blank for a second. Then they see it. They see the hit landed. Whoa, I'm joking. You don't laugh, so they shift again, fast. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Sounds like accountability, right? Wrong. Because the sorry is not for what they said. It's for the inconvenience of your reaction. They're apologizing to calm the room, not to respect you. Watch the full sequence. It's almost scripted. 1, hit. 2, just joking. 3, tiny apology. 4, and then here comes the poison. You're too sensitive. Example in a relationship. If you keep acting like this, I'll replace you. You stare. Silence. They laugh a little. Relax, babe, I'm kidding. You still don't smile. So they add, fine, sorry, I was playing. And then the switch. But seriously, you can't take a joke. That last line is the trap, because it turns their cruelty into your defect. So you start defending your nervous system instead of defending your boundary. This is why it's so addictive for manipulators. They get to hurt you, then act mature, then shame you, all in one breath. It's like stepping on your foot and saying, I'm sorry you felt pain. And your brain, if you're a decent person, tries to be fair. It goes, maybe they didn't mean it. So you give them another chance, then another. Then you start editing yourself. Maybe I am too intense. Maybe I should chill. Maybe I'm overreacting. That's how the bait and switch apology rewires you. Here's the darker version, social groups. Someone humiliates you in front of others, then says, "I'm joking, don't get mad." If you stay quiet, they follow up with, No, I'm sorry, okay?" Then they look at the group and laugh. See? Always moody. They just used an apology as a costume for another attack. Ninth layer teaches one rule. Never measure sincerity by the word sorry. Measure it by what changes after. Do they stop? Do they repair? Do they respect the line next time? Or do they repeat the same joke with a cleaner smile? And if you're wondering why your body reacts before your mind can explain, that's because your body doesn't negotiate with performance. It recognizes patterns. The pattern is hurt, escape, blame, repeat. One more thing before the 10th layer. When they apologize like this, don't rush to accept it. Acceptance too fast becomes permission, and permission is what they came for. Quick test. If they say sorry and then joke again the next day, the apology was a reset button, not remorse. 10th layer is where the joke becomes a threat disguised as love. Tenth, the velvet threat. This is the final form, the joke that smiles while it warns you. It doesn't sound like an insult. It sounds like teasing, but the message underneath is, don't challenge me. Real example, relationship. They say, sweet voice, playful eyes, "Careful, I might leave you one day." Your stomach drops, tiny, instant. You look at them like, "What?" Then the cover lands. "Relax, I'm joking." That was not a joke. That was a boundary check with a threat inside. They just tested how you react to abandonment without admitting they used it. Another version, friends. Someone laughs and says, "Don't get too confident. We can replace you." Everyone laughs like it's nothing. You feel your face tighten. Then instantly, "Just kidding." That line is a leash made of velvet, soft enough to hide, strong enough to pull. The velvet threat works because humans fear loss more than they love respect. So a joke that hints at loss, losing love, losing the group, losing status, makes you behave. Not because they demanded it, but because your nervous system heard the warning. And once your nervous system hears it, you start adjusting. You become quieter. You stop bringing up problems. You accept things you hate. You start choosing peace over truth. Here's a workplace version. A manager laughs and says, "If you keep asking questions, we'll ship you off." People laugh. You laugh too, because you don't want to be labeled difficult. Then the manager adds, "Relax, I'm joking." But notice what changes after that. You ask fewer questions. You make fewer requests. You become easier to control. That's the point. The velvet threat always comes with 3 ingredients. 1, a smile to make it deniable. 2, a hint of loss to create fear. 3, a joke label to make you feel guilty for reacting. And the most manipulative version is when they wrap it in love. "I'd die without you, but don't push me. I'm obsessed with you. Don't embarrass me. I only joke like this because I care." That's not care. That's ownership with perfume on it. After enough velvet threats, you start policing yourself. You start anticipating what might annoy them. You start shrinking before they even speak. And then they say, smiling, "See? you're finally learning. Learning what? Learning silence. So if you want the truth, clean and cold, I was just joking becomes dangerous when it carries consequences. Withdrawal, punishment, rejection, humiliation. Because then it's not humor, it's a warning system they control. And now you can map the whole thing. First was the shield and weapon. Second was the innocent face. Third was training. Fourth was hijacking. Fifth was loyalty. Sixth was over-explaining. Seventh was approval. Eighth was sugar knife. Ninth was fake repair. 10th is velvet threat. And the reason people stay trapped is simple. They keep responding to the joke instead of responding to the pattern. I forgot to tell you something. The velvet thread doesn't start with fear. It starts with a story. Years ago, no, listen. There was this guy in a group, quiet, useful, always easy to be around. They loved him because he never made them uncomfortable. And one night at a table, someone smiled and said, playful, warm, "Careful, we could replace you tomorrow." Everyone laughed like it was nothing, but his body didn't laugh. His stomach dropped, his hands went cold. He tried to play along. He forced a little laugh. And that was the moment the joke became a leash. After that, he started changing in small ways. He stopped disagreeing. He stopped telling the truth when the truth would slow the room down. He started reading faces before speaking, editing words mid-sentence. Not because he was weak, but because he was warned. Weeks later, he finally pushed back on something real: respect. He said, calm voice, "Don't talk to me like that." The same person smiled, tilted their head, and whispered, "Relax, I'm joking. Don't start problems." And the group laughed, because laughter is cheaper than courage. Here's what he didn't notice. The joke wasn't a joke anymore. It was a contract. Stay small, stay included. Grow a spine, lose the room. And the room always wins when you need it. Then came the sweetest version. One day they said, smiling like a lover, like a friend, "I'm only hard on you because I care." And right after, the same warning covered in sugar. "But don't push me, okay? I might disappear." That's the velvet threat, fear wearing perfume. He saved the friendship by betraying himself. He apologized first, he laughed first, he surrendered first. And months later, when he finally left the group, they told the same joke to the next quiet person. So if a joke contains consequences, withdrawal, rejection, punishment, it's not humor, it's leverage. And leverage only works when you keep pretending you didn't feel it. And here's the part people miss, because it feels too small to matter. The threat is rarely loud. It's a joke about leaving, a joke about replacing you, a joke about not needing you. Your brain hears it as fiction, but your nervous system hears it as a deadline. He started doing this weird thing. He'd laugh before the punchline even finished, like he was paying in advance. That's what fear does. It makes you prepay with your dignity so you don't get charged with rejection. The last night I saw him, someone joked, "Say the wrong thing and we'll forget you exist." He laughed, Then his eyes went empty for half a second. That half second is the whole documentary. That's the moment your self-respect asks for help, and your smile drags it back underwater. So if you recognize that empty half second in yourself, don't argue the joke. Name the pattern in your head. Leverage. And remember, people who respect you don't need threats, even cute ones. Not love, just control. And there it is. The joke was never the joke. It was a system, a pattern, a little ritual people used to hurt you, test you, train you, and then erase the fingerprints with laughter. And if you made it to the end, if you stayed through every layer, every mask, every little twist, I respect you. Because most people don't want truth, they want comfort. But you wanted the map. And here's the crazy part. Once you see this pattern, it starts showing up everywhere like a stain you can't unsee. In your friends, in your family, in your group chats, in your workplace banter. You'll hear the sentence and your body will react before your brain finishes the thought. Because your body knows what your pride keeps trying to deny. You'll notice the timing, the smile that comes after the stab, the kidding that only appears when you stop cooperating, the apology that repairs nothing, the sweetness that hides a blade, the velvet threat that trains your silence, the mirror trap that makes you question your spine. It's almost beautiful. Not because it's kind, but because it's efficient. It turns a whole human being into a manageable version of themselves with one sentence. And now that you know it, you get your power back. Not by screaming, not by begging, not by proving, by seeing the frame and refusing the role. Listen to me. If someone keeps joking in a way that makes you smaller, that is not humor. That is a negotiation for access to your dignity. And every time you laugh it off to keep the peace, you're paying with yourself. They call it a joke because the word abuse would ruin the vibe, right? But your nervous system doesn't care about vibes. It cares about patterns. So, thank you, genuinely. To the ones who watch this to the last second, you're rare. And if this hit you in the chest, if you recognize someone, if you recognized a version of you, good. That discomfort is the door opening. Now, don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you want more of this dark psychology, more breakdowns, more weapons made of truth. And in the comments, tell me what topic you want next. People who never take responsibility? Hidden jealousy? Silent manipulation? Passive aggression? The psychology of guilt tripping? Drop it down there, and I'll pick the one that exposes the cleanest lies. Because after today, you won't hear I was just joking the same way again. Now you know.